go and throw it over to Delphi and osey890 or 889 with Odin Sphere Leifthrasir. And gentlemen, your character choice will be Gwendolyn.
As expected.
Thanks, Gunnar.
Thanks. Alright, here's the most important part of the video game.
It's definitely very necessary for the game.
I didn't realize it was right back
But
there.
if we didn't do that, I'm pretty sure we'd be violating some kind of code. So we're going to just quickly introduce ourselves. I'm Ozzy,
I'm Delphi.
and over on the couch is going to be our commentary crew who will be doing most of the talking. Because as much as I like to talk, I like to win. We have my good friend Ghost Kuma
Hello.
and Ghoul02.
Yep, that's me.
So I hope they do a good job because I really want this to work out. This is a game I've been looking to get into this bear pump for like 3 years now, so I'm really excited to be here.
And we picked this up in the practice room of last level. So,
Real quick, one last thing.
Some upstart's gonna be.
Real quick, we have one last fellow on the couch here. You've probably seen this during the interviews a couple times, but we have a habaneristo manticore plushie. So the habaneris and manticores in general are these little vegetables that kind of walk around and you use for an important mechanic in the game. But it's also really cute. It's handmade by Nancy Cooper, and I believe it's a $10 bid to get a treat gift. It's one of a kind.
We're all good to go.
Yeah.
So, we're not?
okay. Alright, so I guess we can do some talking about the history of this game. This is Odin Sphere Leifthrasir. This is the animation here. This is the PS4 remake, not port, remake of the PS2 classic Odin Sphere. I want to say 2014,
That sounds like 20. I was gonna say it was actually like 2015. I want to say because I was there when
No,
it actually came out.
it was closer to 2014. Because again, I've been going to this for 3 years. The game came out roughly 6 months before I eventually picked it up.
Well, it's 2019 Aussies, so that'd be
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, but anyways, this is a very different game than mechanics are entirely different for the most part, and it's still the same. You'll remember in the art, the music, just everything is so beautiful. It's got the everything. They didn't even have to redraw anything because they already drew it at too high of a resolution.
How bad that game chugs.
And one of the things I believe they like redid most of the visuals and like the engine a little bit from kind of from scratch for this version as well.
No, it was literally just straight up.
They
They
would-
already had it at too high of a resolution and downscaled it way too much.
I must be thinking of some other Vanillaware game or
Yeah.
something.
They did draw new bosses that were introduced to this specific
Yeah, yeah. I knew they did some sort of
Yeah.
new assets. Okay, forgive me.
Yeah,
But yeah, so if you're familiar with the game, Dragon's this is the same developer as them, although it has similar beat 'em up mechanics, although that one's a bit more of a straightforward RPG, like beat 'em up game. Whereas
That plays more like an arcade game. This plays more like a fighting game, like a BlazBlue or Guilty Gear. They also made Muramasa, the Demon
Yeah.
Blade on Wii and Vita. This is also on Vita as well, by the way.
and PS3.
in PS3.
And-
And for all of you that were it was like, oh, but I don't want to have to buy a PS4 to play this. Luckily, this game is runnable on every system it's currently on, even on the Vita. This game runs buttery smooth on everything.
And one of the really nice things about it is even if there was any real differences, it has a very accurate in-game timer. So while we will have a timer for audience purposes, ultimately the time that matters for the run is going to be the in-game time that we get at the end.
In fact, I can show you when I'm holding this book here. You'll notice playtime. When we finish the book, quote unquote, for a character, when we get back to this library, the final time on there will be the actual record.
Yeah, and you can even see it ticking up in menus and everything too. So it's kind of like unintentionally designed for speedrunning, which is cool.
Yeah, this in-game timer, the only time they get in-game timer pauses is during the game where it prompts you to save the game during screen transitions, which really kind of like real time and in-game time is like a minute difference overall.
Yeah. Think of it like a load remover for certain PC games.
Yeah. It just helps be consistent across all the versions, because I do actually know some people that have run on the Vita, for example.
Yeah. And I know some people who own the PS3 version who are expressed interest in maybe trying to learn it.
I know. I'll get to it eventually.
Man, called out live on stream.
You know, I actually forgot that. That was.
I don't have a PS4.
All I remembered was someone told me they wanted to learn it.
You have a PS4 controller. You're one step away.
I don't know. That's a pretty expensive
I
step.
was going to say, the problem is the next step contains the first step. So you don't really get any closer by having the DualShock 4. And the DualShock 4 is just, the D-pad is so much nicer.
I love
my
it.
God, yeah.
I love the DS4.
Yeah, I actually grinded this game so long on this, I ruined my D-pad speed running this game.
Oh, man.
Eat your heart out, Soten.
Hey, nothing tops Soten, dude.
Yeah,
I am thankful because I don't think I would be having carpal tunnel at this point if I
Yeah.
played this like Soten.
yeah. At least we don't have to do strange inputs like any of Alucard or Richter's special moves.
No.
Oh, no. Thank goodness.
Right.
So like a title.
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Looks like we should be good to go now, gentlemen.
All right.
All right, take two. Let's go.
What language is in the lead right now?
The language currently in the lead is Japanese.
Are we
Okay.
doing that rolling bid war thing for it still?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with it if you want.
I'm perfectly fine with
Yeah,
it.
them.
It's,
yeah.
it's super inconsequential.
Yeah, like
Yeah, just designate like after a chapter you'll change it or something.
Yeah.
That way. You,
So if you guys want to make this really, really fun for them and make them have to change language in the middle of a race,
And it actually affects like just like all the voices of the enemy in battle that you'll hear, which
All right, all right, you ready to go? Let's go.
yeah, we've already petted the cat. We're blessed. So.
Yeah, we've already blessed this run.
All right.
All right. All right.
All right.
Great.
For good.
All
Let's
right, 3, 2, 1,
go.
good luck, gentlemen.
All right, this game has the most powerful cutscene skip option of all time. Skip all.
Yes.
Skips literally everything between previous gameplay and this little menu screen, which you actually can press pause to like make it go a little faster. Anyway, so every character starts off with a tutorial in this game. Generally, the combat in this game is a side-scrolling action RPG. You'll see there's a little circle on the bottom right that's indicative of kind of the map. Some screens are like square, some screens are circle. That
No!
means they kind of loop back around.
Give me a crit at the start.
All right, so you have basic ground, aerial, and special maneuvers in this game. As you just saw, Ozzy actually got a crit, and crits are completely random, and you usually actually don't want them for speed runs because they stop time briefly, and then you hit with a powerful attack. And that actually can really disrupt your combo. And combo, like chaining together hits in this game is the most important speed tech, I guess you could say. Most of this run is very combat driven.
yeah, there's a lot of fighting. You'll see that there in the top right there's a chain counter, and That's going to get some pretty high numbers in some of these boss fights, which is going to be really fun to see.
That crit is giving Delphi a lead. This is unacceptable.
I mean, there's also my super secret tutorial tech.
I did it.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
It's very super secret then.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Saves
secret.
a quarter second.
It saves more than that. You don't have to fight one enemy.
So in any case, one of the things we briefly touched on, but they really revamped up the combat system in this version of this game. If you're familiar with Muramasa, the Demon Blade, that came out in between the original PS2 version of Odin Sphere and Leifthrasir. So they kind of took some of the ideas that they implemented into that and put them into this version of this game.
Yeah, the original PS2 version is a much slower combat system.
Yeah, it's generally more methodical as well, although the time difference isn't huge. The gameplay is significantly different. So you're seeing Delphi place a seed in the ground, and what he's doing is he's growing fruit. Now, usually food in RPGs is kind of just a healing item. Food in this game is probably the most important thing. So combat actually doesn't get you a ton of experience. It gets you other resources like items and then phosons, which we'll get into in a bit. They're these little pink things. But they're growing food, and food gives you most of the experience points that you're going to get in this run, and it sort of scales along. Like now we're only getting mulberries. Later on we're going to get like, lamb chops, and those kind of just increase experience exponentially. And really this is kind of a way to keep the game from feeling like grinding, as it scales pretty extensively towards the end. Oh my god, Delphi's in the lead.
For now. By the way, there is a big reason why we specified normal difficulty in this game. Ghost, I would hope you would kind of go over that a little bit.
Just enemies hit harder. Combat is a lot more intense, and yeah, it's normal is a severely more punishing run than easy. So while it does take a lot more time to it takes probably on average 10 to 15 minutes more per character on normal. It is a much more rigorous, much more intense speed run. Where these two, if either of these gentlemen get a deathless run here, that would actually be pretty crazy. Thankfully, deaths don't mean a whole lot in this game, so it would cost a little bit of time, but yeah, you don't want to.
I would actually donate $100 if I got a deathless run.
I am.
How many deathless runs?
Okay.
How many deathless runs have you each gotten, by the way?
Zero.
None. I've gotten a few, but that's over the course of 3 years of running this game with, completely different routes, and the run has changed in ways where things are just a lot more risky.
Yeah, so as you're seeing, when they kill off enemies, and then there are a few other ways to do it, but killing off enemies is one of the main ones. You're seeing these little pink diamonds come out of enemies and then gravitate towards Gwendolyn. She wields a weapon called a cipher, which is an incredibly powerful, glowing jewel-based weapon that, there's a whole bunch of story for how the ciphers are made, but essentially they're really powerful because they use very, dark kind of magic. And ciphers, every time you get one, they heal you one HP. They heal the little thing. You see, a little counter underneath their health at the top left. That is their PP, or cipher points. That is how you use magic skills. And the other thing you can do, as you see Delphi, Delphi actually just unlocked a new thing with a new ability called Ice Shot, which is going to be one of Gwen's bread and butter combat skills. You can actually invest phosons in those skills to upgrade them. And upgrading them not only makes the skill stronger, but also increases your damage output by a flat amount. And so Gwen is probably the most iconic character of this game. I've known quite a few people who own this game and have only really played her story. There's 5 different characters. They all have sort of coinciding stories, so events that happen in one, you'll see a little bit more depth with another. They go to the same areas, but they do them in different orders. So they'll all have their own versions of each boss and each stage.
Well, that sucks.
And they all kind of play very, very differently. They play essentially different characters in a fighting game almost. I use that example a lot, but it kind of fits like you see these juggles in the air, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, Gwen is a relatively balanced and beginner-friendly character. She really teaches you the importance of combos in this game because she can probably combo better than anyone else amongst the 5 characters. To really touch on those 5 characters, there's Gwendolyn, Cornelius, who was one of the bid wars. I really like. He's probably my favorite character in the game to play as because he's got really cool combat mechanics. Mercedes, that nobody likes. Because you have to just mash X for the entire run. Oswald, who's very Berserker-based, and then Velvet, who was one of the other characters, who's very much driven on fire damage, like burn damage, and building stuff off of that. All the characters are really like distinct and fun to play. It adds a lot of kind of replayability to this game to just play these different characters. It's kind of, I think, the way that they were able to, you know, fit the budget with this game is, yeah, you're doing a lot of the same things, but each character plays so rapidly, so vastly differently from one another that it's just a lot of fun to come back to. And you can like just play a character, kind of sit on the game for a while and come back to it, and then not missing a whole lot.
Especially like given all this like sprite work was hand drawn, so like being able to reuse it a little bit for different characters made a lot of sense. And they did a good job of actually making each of the characters play very differently, so that it's never like boring or like, oh man, I'm doing the same thing over and over again.
And where the RPG mechanics come in, you'll see their level on the top left. As they level up, they obviously get more stats, but they also just are able to do more in combat as well. Many skills are also unlocked, however, by doing certain areas. Like you do a battle screen, and it will give you something called a Phozon Prism. And that unlocks a new skill. So right now we're on the first boss here, Belial. Kind of have to be careful. This fight really demonstrates just hitting enemies with big hitboxes for really large combos. And so Ozzy just there used a potion. Potions are really useful. There's healing potions, there's buff potions, and then there's also kind of attacking potions. You throw them out and they'll do some sort of effect. In this case, Ozzy used a volcano. And what Volcano did is it casted sort of a fire spell that had like a pretty significant area of effect, and it also inflicted burn damage on Belial, which does a ton of damage over time. It might not seem like much because you see it ticking for 2 each, but in addition to the damage that was done at first, the burn really makes this fight a lot quicker.
No.
You gotta dive, didn't you?
Yeah. So this is...
No, not me too, not me too, not me too, not me too. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Oh, okay, you're... What?
He's doing the run.
He's doing the run. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so he can do... Belial can do 2 different moves out of that windup. One of them, he dives underground and is unhittable for several seconds. The other one, he runs and is an idiot for a while. Like, he just doesn't do anything. I don't know.
Try to be careful during this attack where he sucks you back up. It's really not fun because it wastes a lot of time.
Okay.
Very solid fight. Apart from the dive on Delphi's part.
And that made it for that crit early, it looks like.
Yeah. We haven't really touched on the story with this game. There's sort of this grand overall conflict where everyone's fighting for the cauldron, which is the thing that can produce the ciphers, which are really powerful weapons that kind of... Yeah, there's sort of like some dark arts to it. I don't really want to get too into the story because we skip all the cutscenes. But essentially, everyone's fighting like their own little side of this giant war. And while the story in this game is a little simple, it's told in a very interesting way. I liken it to classical theater in a lot of the ways the cutscenes work. Like a character will kind of have like the lights dim around them and a spotlight will be down on them, and they'll have like a brief little soliloquy. It's very theatrical and uniquely done, even if the story itself feels very, very old RPG-esque.
Alright.
So now we're getting on the second chapter here, which is the forest.
More tutorials, guys.
Yep.
So fortunately, the text moves slow enough that most people in chat will be able to read it, and we don't even have to explain it for you.
No. Yeah, you know that thing on the couch? Well, this isn't exactly one of them, but it is a type of Mandragora. This is a character. These are basically made for using them as healing potions.
And healing potions are really important because you can sell them for money. Yeah, so if you ever have to use a healing potion in this run, it's kind of a mark of shame. It's actually detrimental because later on in the run, we're going to want to be doing fights at low HP.
Yeah, we mostly, if we're getting healing in this game, it's from leveling up.
And eating food. Although you don't really want to do that in combat because that's going to, if you're in a combo, it's going to break your chain, and it also leaves you vulnerable.
Muggle, dude!
Nice.
I'm upset. We're not friends anymore, Ozzy. You got it off the bears? I thought that's the rarest.
No, I got it off the bears.
Yeah, dang.
So I think you guys probably know a little bit more about this than me. Every time you clear a battle stage, you get a rank. What all exactly does the rank do specifically?
All it changes is the amount of money you get.
Okay.
The rewards are fixed otherwise. It just, as you get higher rank, you get more money and more chance for rare collectible coins known as Valentina coins.
Yeah, so this game I know encourages speedrunning with those ranks because if you complete a stage quickly, you're more likely to get enough points to accumulate an S rank.
Yeah, the big things that usually causes you to lose the S rank is just the time loss and damage taken.
Yeah, you might see a couple of stages where we intentionally get an A rank or a B rank. Well, not with Gwen, it would only be A rank. And that's just because we take damage intentionally.
So as he was mentioning with tutorials, Gwen is really just a very good beginner character and serves as like the tutorial for most of the gameplay. You don't actually get a whole lot of tutorials in the other characters, so it's kind of nice to like be able to introduce this game with Gwen's story. But yeah, it alters the pace a little bit as well. Like Gwen is probably the slowest overall like character. Not necessarily the least fun. She's very much fun to play. She's not Mercedes where you're mashing X to shoot a bow for an hour.
So here we're growing some more food. It is imperative that we hit level 6 by the end of this chapter, and we decided that we needed to stop and grind. So we're doing the tastiest grinding in all of video games.
Food. We do it particularly here because this rosemel seed, if you plant a seed next to this thing, it will spawn phosons. And, well, phosons in the early game are actually kind of tight, and we really want to invest them in skills. That is like the only time we'll actually like sit and stop and grow food. Every other food in this game we're either going to purchase or we're going to just use as like guaranteed from chests or drops. So we get another little tutorial here. Wasting a perfectly good 2 mulberries to make a better healing tonic, which will sell for a little more money.
Yeah, so we haven't really touched too much on alchemy, as they teach you how to do it. In a nutshell, it is you have a potion, you can put other things in the potion. You put other potions in, you'll get a stronger version of a potion. If you put in mandragoras or items, those will give you different effects. Some of them are going to be really useful. Another thing I haven't really touched on is the 2 different types of resources. So PP is a... PP replenishes by phosons and is used for magic skills. Physical skills use the POW meter, which is above the HP on the top left of the HUD. And that slowly replenishes over time, and skills usually use a flat percentage.
It also goes up whenever they block an attack or get a perfect evade.
Correct.
Probably should explain what perfect evades are as well.
Yes, so if you press the R1 button, you can do a brief little backdash. If you time it perfectly, you will avoid damage, and yeah, so it's really good for defense, but it also replenishes your POW meter, which is really nice.
So you can go back in and do more damage after your backdash.
Like there is no downtime with this run. It is just pure combat. Like you see, Ozzy just got a 335 chain combo, and that is just relatively optimal play there.
Oh yeah, can you explain the evade jump cancels, Gus?
Evade jump cancels.
I got it.
That is when you're using. That's when you're in combat and you use an evade to in midair to kind of chain your attacks together faster, right?
No. Evade jump cancels is a tech where we evade on the ground and we can jump to cancel the animation of it, carry the invincibility for a little bit, and it carry the speed, and we don't get the deceleration of the evade.
Right.
It's a weird bit of tech that's not entirely obvious. Like, we make this movement look pretty natural, but it's not too tight. It's pretty easy to pull off. Like, but it's something that we do all over the place.
Yeah, like I'm doing it right now, right? This is an evade jump cancel.
Yeah. It's also very important in combat because it lets us move from one area to another without losing our chain.
Great for chasing bosses down
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
There's only one other method of movement that might be a little bit faster, but it's limited and not on this character.
All right, here's Velvet. This is the main reason why we level up. This fight is a pain in the butt without those levels.
The levels guarantee a knock-up on Velvet with one cast of Ice Shot. Bosses in this game that you can launch, they require a certain amount of damage to be dealt in order to get knocked up in the air. And just so happens that being level 6 makes Ice Shot deal just enough damage, and we get to combo her up here rather than down there.
This is really big because while she's on the ground, you really don't want Velvet to start getting attacks to hit you.
And while they're knocked up in the air, they really can't act either, so it's a good way of keeping them from actually retaliating as well.
You'll also notice that they're trying to use potions. You can, if you knock those out of their hands, you can basically use those yourself if you grab them. Some of them are useful, some of them are just going to be to alchemize later, but after many different boss phases as well, they will also drop them. It's important that they pick these up in the middle of the fight, because if they don't, there's a very brief animation between when the boss dies and when the next story cutscene would initiate, and anything that you haven't picked up does not automatically go into your inventory. Pretty close race here. We're just behind on one health cycle here. And really anything can happen. Like, as this run goes on, we're going to be less
Fire spirits!
Nice.
What? That is that is the rarest drop that any boss can give. It is an incredibly powerful potion that you'll see later.
Level 2 fire spirits. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, you got a toxin. That's
Yeah, Toxin's good, but like, it's no fire spirits.
yeah. It's gonna get used on Brigand.
You're right.
Yeah, so we're going to be closer, like more and more under level as the run goes on. There are some strats to mitigate this, though, thankfully. It's one of the nice things about a food-based EXP system. But most of these areas that we go to have about like 1.5 to 2 times as many screens as we'll actually be doing in the run. This is where you would go to get like extra equipment, extra items, and stuff like that. If you do this in a casual playthrough, you'll pretty much be able to keep up along the way. But we need to sort of min-max damage in order to do this run quickly.
All right. And next, I got Assault High, and this is a pretty hugely beneficial passive skill we can invest in.
Yeah, so basically what Assault High does is as that chain goes up, they're going to be doing a % increase on damage. So I know at rank 3 you said it was 5% for every 25 hits in a chain.
Yep. Up to a max of 25%.
Yeah, which a 25% DPS increase is pretty dang high, as it turns out.
Yeah, because of that, if you like drop the chain, it's a pretty significant DPS loss.
Until you get it restacked.
Yeah. Say a little mini trolls. They're very aptly named because they like to roll around like Sonic.
Why is that Sonic?
They like to spin. They like to do a spin jumps.
Because they're rolling around at the speed of sound.
What does that have to do with mini trolls?
I don't know. I'm just going with it.
I mean, Sonic is kind of a controlling character in Smash.
I don't know. I thought you were referencing the trailer.
Oh no!
All right, we're kind of there. Anyways.
Would now be a good time to get in a donation?
Of course.
We have an anonymous $25 donation. Hey Ozzy, this is a reminder to not lose and eat your yogurt. Donation goes to naming Guy from FF2 Bidoof.
I can approve of that.
That's Light Eagle. Hi, Light Eagle. He loves that Pokemon way too much for his own good.
I mean,
That's
it
a
is
Cubsbane.
it is the HM slave to end all HM slaves.
That's 2 Cubsbanes on the same screen.
It's also like potentially banned thanks to Moody, so that's cool.
Say hello to Murray. Unfortunately, Murray is not very useful in this game, as a speedrun. And like casually, Murray is broken because you can take your time and he will make you all this wonderful, delicious home-cooked meal. But you need to bring him recipes and you need to bring him the ingredients, and it's just too slow.
So Ozzy, I got a Tourney and 2 Cubsbanes on the same screen.
I got a Muggle and a Fire Spirit for free.
I think I won out on this one, actually.
Yeah, so basically what they're talking about is drops in this game can be pretty random, and those actually affect the quality of the run significantly. So Cubsbanes are Mandragoras that are used to make poison, and then Tourneys are used to make ice. Ice is really nice because if you have 3 Tourneys in a potion or use it on like an ice spell, you can make a Ice Spirits, which is a very defensive-oriented potion. Cubsbane and Poison is really useful because you can use a potion called Killer Cloud, which is really efficient damage. So this boss is probably the worst boss to try and get a good rank on casually, except on Gwen. Like, it is really hard to hit his weak spot on the. It's sort of the horn on his head, if that's not obvious enough. But Gwen's air juggling abilities are really good for this fight, and everyone else has a much harder time with it.
So first thing you'll notice, they knocked off the trolls on the top of his head just so they don't have to deal with them as the fight goes on. And then we're going to start looping him with this. You're going to notice they're going to try to get this health bar down all the way through. If they don't get it low enough, he's going to have to use Ice Spirits in order to get it through. That'll give him a little mini stun, which will actually keep him staggered long enough for the combo to continue.
I'm always watching for what he does, because if I do not do this perfectly, like I miss a single hit, it could throw off the entire rhythm, and I don't guarantee the stuns.
It's a really bad time for a crit.
Oh, I've had crits go off, and I completely whiff because of the long delay of it.
Yeah, a lot of combat in this game is just very much driven on rhythm. The nice thing about Ice Spirits, at least for this fight, is it's a homing skill, so you can kind of chain together hits once you fall to the ground and just use Ice Spirits to kind of keep your combo going if you have a hard time hitting him. Of course, since Phozons are a lot harder to come by, you only want to use Ice Spirits sparingly, and that was a really good fight from Ozzy.
Okay. Good luck, Delphi. Get through this guy. Oh, another Cubsbane and a Troll Muller. I wish I could use that.
I wish you could use the Whirlwind. It's like my favorite casually. Whirlwind's a really useful wind spell casually, but it generates so much lag, it's not worth using in combat.
I actually had to drop my chain there because Frostbend used a move that summoned Ice Elemental enemies, which you may have seen in a previous screen, but they will hurt so much. Right now, Ozzy's getting incredibly important skill, Gourmet.
Yeah, this passive makes it so where I gain 20% more experience points from eating food.
And this is all food sources, including like Mori and when we get to the Buka Kitchen, correct?
Yeah, and that is a nice little bonus because getting more levels ultimately does make a pretty significant difference at the end of the run.
That was a really good recovery by Delphi, by the way, to salvage that fight.
Okay. Do not underestimate those Griffins. They're actually surprisingly tough, and if you leave them alone, they'll start casting spells that, nigh unavoidable sometimes. And a common tactic you'll see throughout our battles is we're always kind of trying to control the fights and herd enemies together, because it's a lot faster to kill them all as a big group rather than trying to pick them off individually.
Yeah, most of the attacks in this game aren't really single targets, so if you can get them stacked on top of each other, you can hit multiple enemies at one time. Yeah, obviously saves a lot of time.
All right, so we're gonna do an actual optional boss here.
This is Bugbear. He's neither a bug nor a bear, nor a bugbear.
But he is the Desecrator of Souls. So goes his title.
Ooh, nice, a toxin drop. Okay, for a second there I thought he was gonna get a hit in before the crit stump. Okay, managed to do a perfect evade there.
Another kind of weird thing about critical hits is that you actually can't evade out of them. You have to wait for the entire animation to play. So you just gotta live with the game deciding that RNG wasn't on your side.
About how often do crits happen?
Pretty
Very
randomly.
rarely. I'd say 1% because you do a lot of hits and I don't know. I've never done the math.
You do have a luck stat in this game, and you can increase those odds.
Let's
Ow.
not.
Yeah, let's not increase those odds, but though I have had a case in one run where I've had 2 crits back to back, and it was one of the most awkward feeling things ever.
Yeah. As was mentioned earlier, oh hey, Thompson. The combat is very much driven on rhythm, so the flow of combat is very much vital for us.
Did I grab that? I can't remember. I could have sworn I saw him drop. No, I guess I did grab it. Okay.
So you see, he's done this already before, but you see Ozzy actually, if you press select, you can actually view the sort of map. There's kind of a little bit of a pseudo 3-dimensional map, despite the fact that the entire game plays in 2D. And you can fast travel to any room that has like a checkpoint marker on it. And so this is kind of a neat way, if you go off to like the top left end and the boss on the top right, you can kind of shortcut your way through. Otherwise you'd be just retreading a lot of old ground.
Yeah, a lot of rooms are either kind of like a flat panel or basically a giant loop. And that's kind of how the world map is connected. It's not quite like a Metroidvania type thing where like I'll go higher and that'll take you in this area. It's the areas are basically a big loop. You can see even in like kind of there's a little map even in the corner that like shows enemies and stuff. That also kind of
So the reason why we did that optional boss in the first place is we got a very, very important piece of equipment. These are called Saturn bangles.
So Saturn bangles, when you pick up one, by the way, you can actually buy more at the shop heap, which is why they did that first, instead of just doing it at the shop heap. And it's incredibly important because it increases damage that you deal and take.
by 10%, I believe, for each one. So they stacked 3 of them, so they're doing 30% extra damage, but they're also taking 30% extra damage. So if they start taking damage, they're going to get shredded as fast as they're shredding enemies.
Yeah, everything hurts now.
You'll also notice that when they did that, they sold basically everything they own as far as healing items go. So
healing is for the weak.
Honestly, Gwen's run is probably one of the scariest. She ends up with a lot fewer tools in the way of potions than other characters. So I wouldn't be surprised if, as a safety, Ozzy or I saves a heal potion late in the game so that we don't die.
Let's see. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, this is totally worth it. To upgrade a Fire Spirit to level 3, it lasts a little longer and it deals a little bit more damage. And against Brigand, it's worth the trade-off.
yeah, so this boss is a little bit different. You'll see he's got kind of those 4 little like shields strapped to his chest. Until those get knocked off, he can't really take any damage. So
yeah, you can only take burn damage until he takes those off. Now, the Fire Spirits are really important for dealing that burn, but they also just deal good amounts of damage and, importantly, a number of hits along the way. So they're really useful for trying to keep a chain together and just keeping your DPS really high. The DPS damage per second, if anyone's unfamiliar with the acronym.
So sometime soon, there's going to be some Valkyries running in from the side to try to help him out, get him some more of those protective vests. It's going to be interesting because Ozzy and Delphi are going to try to kind of control the fight and keep them from... But you don't want them to like give him the equipment, but you also don't really want to kill them too quickly either because you want to be focusing your damage on the boss, of course. They're also really dangerous because they attack you once they finish whatever they're setting out to do, which I've seen kill Delphi in the practice room.
Toxin there, which also inflicts poison, which is another useful damage over time.
Right before we went into this fight, we made sure to level up Assault High to level 3.
Oh, I forgot to do that. Dang it. No, you stupid.
No! He's getting one shield back. Okay. So now Ozzy's able to finish the fight. One thing that's really important to note is he's not going to be using Ice Shot that much because if an enemy is burned and he uses Ice Shot, the burn goes away.
Freeze and burn are incompatible
You know,
debuffs.
even though I forgot to level up Sultai for this, the fact that I had that level 3 Fire Spirits kind of equaled it out.
Yeah, maybe. I had to make an Ice Spirits because I don't want to redo this boss. Dying is not particularly punishing. You just go back to the start of whatever screen you're at. But against bosses, all of whom can take a very long time, I don't want to redo any of them.
Yeah, you could lose.
You can use minutes.
Yes, on a single death, if you, especially if you die towards the end of the fight, it can be just soul crushing. So Chapter 4 is probably the biggest step in difficulty for every character in the game, because we're hitting at a transition period where enemies are like starting to scale up in levels quite a bit. Like, we're level 12. The final boss of this place, of this chapter, is like level 19.
29.
Or it's 21? Yeah, okay. We're not going to be close to that at all. It's actually fairly dangerous as a result. And on top of that, this chapter has like one of the most infamously annoyingly difficult bosses in the game.
Yeah.
The airship.
Oh no. I've only played the game casually and I'm getting I'm breaking out in a cold sweat. I hate that boss. Especially on Velvet. I hate that boss so much on Velvet.
What am I doing?
Kind of a little side note. So Nebulapolis here is probably my favorite backdrop in the game. It just looks so pretty.
All right, if I get in with the donation.
Yeah, I'm about to finish this up. Go right ahead.
All right, so we've got a $125 donation from Gunarm Dine. Punarm Dine here. Odin Sphere is such a great game, and the remake absolutely blew it out of the park. So it's definitely an all-time favorite. It's late, and no doubt a lot of us are tired by now, but just drink a gallon or two of coffee to wake back up because the runners are going to grab a Braum and sweep through the enemies, bringing them a lot of pain in this great race. If they start to tire, we'll go the DBZ route to be Cauldron to give them our energy, and they'll be right back onks when they get recharged. Yeah, not a lot of puns this time.
Time loss.
But Ozzy took them like a champ during the Legend of Legaia last year, so I'll give him a break. Good luck to both Ozzy and delphinhyte, and remember, if your puka is actually your thief fused with a wolf, fish, and a bullman, you're playing the wrong game.
One of the things with this game is the game is named Odin Sphere. There's a lot based on like Norse mythology, but there's kind of a mishmash. Like Mercedes is like a Spanish thing, and she's like a fairy. And then pukas, which are these little rabbit-like creatures, are in this game, and that's more of like an old Irish or Celtic. So it's kind of a bit of a mishmash of just different historical, like European folklore.
So this is probably the worst Berserker fight I have ever had in my life.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Okay. We're on the process of recovering though, so everything's fine.
Yeah, so Delphi may be a bit behind right now, but it's still anyone's race. Anything can happen against one of the bosses. Ozzy could like just get crushed at like the end of the fight.
We're about to approach one of the said bosses. The next boss is the airship after this.
Yes,
All right, so there's a death. Goodbye, $100.
Oh no.
Sorry, not me.
One day, Dave. One day.
One day.
Dang. Again, Ozzy could still get utterly stomped, and Delphi could make a comeback.
Dude, stop throwing axes at me. It hurts.
So if you get hit in the back while you're guarding, you actually get stunned. So it is something that you have to be aware of in a game where enemies come from both sides.
Another thing is a lot of our attacks require us to hold down the square button, the attack button, which is the same input that is used to guard. So if we're trying to do some of these attacks, we'll just get guard broken. Not really our fault.
I was really hoping I didn't take that kind of damage there, because this means I'm basically one-shot kill range of everything on the airship now. By the way, this Phozon skill I'm getting here, it's actually, I don't care about it, but I have no choice but to get it. And yes, we are opening up all these chests along the way because we really, really want all this money. There's some really nice things we're going to buy later. All right, I'm going to focus here. This is the airship.
Yeah, so its weak spots are these two bulbs on the top of the balloon here. And it just has all these really nasty attacks that kind of prevent you from being able to keep a chain up for the entire fight.
Careful, careful.
Also, what's annoying is there's these little dwarfs that'll throw bombs everywhere.
There's
so.
my first death.
So the other thing that's bad about dwarves is they throw potions, just like our potions. And they're just a normal enemy, and they can throw several of them, including the more powerful ones like Toxic or Volcano. Oh, hey, turn me.
I'm not used to hearing the Japanese voices in this.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. I'm really hoping he fires more missiles. Come on. Okay. No. Okay.
The electricity is probably one of the more annoying attacks to deal with in this fight as well. And good job.
Nice.
He did take a death leading into this, but the death happened fairly quickly, so he didn't lose a ton of time.
Yeah, so the very important thing about this boss fight is that it drops level 6 potions. It's actually one of the nice things about playing it on higher difficulties is that the potion, like the higher level potions, will actually drop on higher difficulties. Playing this on easy, it's like level 3. Yeah.
Which is the same level as everything else you get in this level. But on hard, it drops level 9 potions. There was a point in time where I discussed with Ozzy the benefits of swapping to hard difficulty for that fight to get the level 9 potions.
And then I slapped him upside the head and reminded him what boss he was talking about.
Yeah.
So for this category, is it like just like a lot of normal games where you can like swap difficulty on the fly?
Yep.
Yes.
So it's normal or higher than I assume? Like you could technically go on hard and...
There is a heroic difficulty that you lock after beating the game.
I mean, for the speedrun,
Yeah.
could you theoretically do a fight on hard and normal
There's
difficulty?
never been any precedent for it, so I don't really know.
Okay.
There's no real reason to change difficulties, how I'll put it.
Yeah.
There's no benefit or detriment to increasing the difficulty other than time loss.
All right.
Yeah, Stealthy's coming up here on pretty annoying.
Best of luck, Delphi.
Thank you.
So we're about 2 screens behind now. So we'll let him focus on this. It's important.
We're taking this super safe.
I can't entirely blame them. I purposely played super risky on that boss fight. I should have used the nice spirits, but I decided against it because I was ahead. Okay, good eggs. Ooh, cuts bait. No, come here. I really want that cut.
That's annoying.
Alright, we got another kind of like general mook rush here. It's a difficult fight, but it's like nothing we haven't seen already. So if there's like another donation or something, I think this is an excellent time.
We have quite a few, actually. So we have a $25 donation from Met King. I've always thought General Brigand looks like Dr. Robotnik's Viking ancestor. Best luck to both of you. We also have a $50 donation from Fant. Good luck, Ozzy, on the run, and shoutouts to Ghoul and GK on the couch.
I thought he was going to shout out the Doku Buffy. Oh, that was a mess.
I'd like to stay on talk and speak in terms of Ozzy during the run, so.
You cost me everything. I will never forgive you. Kidding. Or am I? Anyways, I'm ready to fight Odin. So.
Yeah, so Odin is one of the more infamously difficult fights. This guy took me probably almost an hour in my own casual playthrough of the original Odin Sphere.
Oh god.
There's a lot more combat options that make this a little bit more bearable in this version. Essentially, the real story is...
Okay.
First try.
Nice shot, Duffy.
Good job, man.
Good job on that fight. That is not easy to do. Even with the safe strats of the ice spirits, there's so many things that can go wrong.
And I got a ton of Cub Spain drops.
So Odin serves as a weird role in this game. He's sometimes the antagonist, sometimes an anti-villain, but he's also Gwen's father, and we're kind of defying him in the story, basically.
I actually have 9 Cup Spains right now.
Yo, nice.
I got 6 from that fight.
Wow. That is
so strange. I'm not gonna say I've never had that happen before, because I have, but airship is weird in that. Okay, airship is weird in that every single for Gwen at least, the Mandragores you pick up throughout the run are based on the level that you go to. So you can only see up through tourneys through Chapter 4. Airship ignores that. You can drop any Mandragora in the game, which includes the ones from later chapters like Onions or Habaneristas.
So conveniently, you can air juggle Odin, and it's really important that you do so because he's not a guy you really want to let have too many chances to hit you. In his final phase, he can actually pull out his Cypher as well. He has his own, which is this gigantic flail, and it is no fun to deal with.
Unfortunately, he actually can't in this version of him. Every other version can.
Okay.
Because this version is someone is possessing him.
Right.
Yeah, it's actually Brigand who's possessing him. If you pay attention real close to his face, you'll actually see Brigand's face like a ghostly image in front of it.
Right. It has been a very long time since I played Gwen. I played Gwen and then I stopped halfway through Cornelius and then just marathoned the other characters like in the last week.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
It is kind of cool in that this game is something that you could stop playing for a while and then come back to, and all the characters are between 6 to 8 hours casual, so.
Like,
right.
Nice.
Good fight, by
Good
the
job.
way.
Yeah. I'll admit, I feel pretty good about my pace right now, so I'm happy.
I'm actually having to drink a heal potion because I'm in the Valkyrie leader fight.
For shame.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said before, Gwen's of the characters I run, Gwen's the only one I'd say I don't feel ashamed drinking heal potions in.
And honestly, I would do it too if I was in his situation in certain points, because there is no benefit to being at low health currently. That will change, but right now, having full HP and low HP makes no difference. It just is more risky. And in a race setting, do you really want to lose 5 minutes?
And so for defying the king, Gwen is kind of cursed, quote unquote, with she's to fall in love with one of the supposed to be like the first person that she meets, but they kind of have like a loophole
Okay,
around it.
time for the all-important yogurt.
Yeah. So to change the subject here, yogurt is probably one of the most important potions in the game. A level 9 yogurt will like double the amount of experience that you can get for a set period of time. What the game never actually tells you is that this applies to any source of food, which includes the Puka kitchen. So these little bunny characters who look way cuter than a puka in Irish folklore actually looks like. You can exchange these sort of like medals that you win for food that they will like serve similar to the way Murray does. So he's gonna eat the yogurt and then immediately eat a bunch of food. And then before the yogurt runs out, he wants to enter the Puka kitchen and get basically as much experience as he can, because this gets him like considerably higher amounts of levels than he would have been able to get otherwise. So this is a sort of way to kind of catch up on experience.
The tastiest grinding in video games.
The tastiest.
Ooh, nice. I got enough for a seafood salad.
Oh, nice. So you got the triple?
Yeah, I got the 2 gold.
Oh yeah.
So this is nice. So I'm basically going to be able to get to level 28. And that, I mean, literally, this is it. We're done with grinding. No more. I should not have to eat any more food after this point. Which means the final boss of this place is going to be a good 20 levels still higher than me, but honestly, it's still like so much worth it to do it this way. Because like the amount of experience points that it takes to level up from where we were to 28 really isn't that much compared to what it takes to get to, like, say, level 28 to level 35.
Okay, my turn. My turn for Odin. I've got so many cups, man. I'm gonna just throw some here. Not that potion. This one.
I think my Cutsbane count is pretty high too. I'm probably gonna use one on Leviathan twice if I can. Why do you keep saying Leviathan?
It's 11th then.
It's 11th.
Close enough. I mean, this game's already a mishmash of old folklore. Why not?
Oh gosh.
Oh, and there's the W fist.
Yeah, for anyone familiar with Trio the Punch, I call that move the W fist. For obvious reasons.
Stop running, die. So these enemies are pretty standard. We've caught up in levels. In fact, we're 4 levels higher than these enemies currently are. So we're actually like pretty set for damage. So I'm not like worried about dying or anything. But that's gonna quickly change. It's just that that big boost of levels just helps in the long run overall. Ooh, finally got my habanero. Give me that cheese. So I'm going to pick up all this food, actually, because food I'm not going to eat is going to be used for alchemy. And I really want to make some powerful potions later.
Habanero is nice to have because they're fire element.
They're really useful for the last chapter, because all the bosses in that chapter are especially weak to it. Ah. Oh god. Hold still, you little bugger.
I should have done this the last attempt, but I thought I had it. It was stated before Ozzy that Odin is an incredibly difficult fight.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm having this much difficulty is a tad unusual, but
It's one of those cases where, like, all it takes is just one mistake, you know?
Yeah, one mistake and then your rhythm gets off, and then just it all kind of spirals.
Alright. Honestly, I really don't have a whole lot that I can add about this boss other than the fact that with other characters, because she's a constantly flying boss, she's actually really difficult to juggle with those characters. But Gwen, because her attacks doesn't cause this boss to like fall to the ground that often, or like slam down and bounce off, she can actually juggle her pretty safely and consistently. So we're done with her. We're good. She gave me a toxin jump, which is really nice.
Oh, hey, so did Odin.
Even these accessories I'm picking up, in alchemy, if you combine 2 accessories together, you can make what's called an overload potion. And overload potions give you flat damage to every attack you deal for a short period of time. And those are really handy to make.
I actually just had a crit ruin my combo.
Okay,
Good job.
Nice.
This is one of the scariest fights down, so it's good that they were both able to get that taken care of without stalling for too long.
Yeah, like I said, Chapter 4 is kind of like a big,
It's a big spike in difficulty.
big spike in difficulty for every character.
I could have leveled up Needle Strike before the fight. Oh well. All right, we'll get 1 point.
And again, it is really important that they upgrade these skills because it not only benefits them to benefits the skill itself, but it increases their overall damage output as well as their max PP in some
So
skills.
we got the Demon Chocobo Rider.
I hated this boss so much, especially on I think Oswald.
And Oswald? This boss is a joke as Oswald.
Isn't it like?
No, I'm thinking of Mercedes. No, I had a hard time
Oh,
with
yeah.
Mercedes. That's right. I played all 3 characters like back to back to back. So
Okay,
kind of a mental blur. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure that's only appropriate for Mercedes.
Yeah, I'd agree. Wait, I didn't unlock Charm. I need to do that right now.
Alright. Into a launch. Ugh, I thought I was too far away there, so I canceled out of it. I was wrong. And I forgot about Rising Crescent again, dang it. So I like this move because it does this launch and then you can go into a dash. Rising Crescent actually has a pretty strong percentile damage hit. So it's actually fairly strong. The problem is it's a ground-only base skill, and that makes it kind of hard to use compared to something like Needle Strike, which can be both used on the ground, in the air, and it's got very little end lag time, which is a big, very big important thing in this game, because the longer you're just kind of oh, by the way, it's faster to warp to and back than to wait for the door to open manually.
So you mentioned in the practice room that when you're juggling enemies, basically gravity increases on them, so they'll eventually fall out of combos
Yes.
after a while. So
It's more like they get super armor after a while and they just fall out.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So you can't just keep them juggled in the air forever, even though it kind of almost looks like you can.
Yeah.
That's not what I told you to do, Gwen. Told you to live.
Ozzy's stalling for the producers, making it a closer race.
Oh, you're over here now. This boss will show up either on the left or right-hand side when this battle starts. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. For the most part, enemy spawns are consistent in which areas they spawn in, but that's typically only for the first attempt at a fight. After that, they start mixing up which side of the room that they spawn on, but it's always the same distance from you.
So kind of the basics of Leviathan here. This little baby dragon that gets a ton more power. There's very few dragons left in the world, and one of them kind of dies in the story. So essentially the villain kind of gives Leviathan here a little crown that I believe powers him up. And the crown actually can drop in the fight and will affect both his behavior as well as the fight itself.
So the crown is currently off this boss right now, and I want to keep it off. Which is actually kind of difficult to do, because he's this tiny little dragon, and he's actually really hard to juggle. But I'm going to try to keep the juggle going. Okay, I didn't.
One of the things he likes to do is try and do this diving attack, which will help him pick up the crown in the process. We really don't want to let him do that.
Oh, okay. I don't care. You're dying. Die, 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 die. Okay.
That was a very clean fight.
Nice.
Only took one death.
Only. And it was at the start of the
Yeah,
fight.
very,
so
very quick deaths so far too, which is very nice.
Yeah, it's a good death.
Okay.
Or as good as a death can be.
Yeah.
Because it always loses time.
Okay, I want to go for, let's see, this. And we want to go ahead and get counter guard. So I get the counter guard is really just a prerequisite, just so I can go get Air Force down over here. I could have gotten this sooner, but it's extra menu time is damaging. But since I'm always forced to go into this menu at the end of a chapter, I just like to do it. Alright, Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is actually when we get access to the next kind of like tier upgrade for the equipment we've been using as far as Saturn. So what's better than 30% damage dealt and taken? More damage and more damage taken. And that's what we're gonna get.
So what are the new numbers on this?
It's like, I believe it's like 55% altogether. More importantly, though, Mars Bengals have a passive that increases the damage we do the lower our HP is. So now we also get access to danger strats, and I want to show everybody here where sheep really come from. This is very important for me to show off. I just need to prove this as a fact. See, this is growing sheep. I'm gonna get shot. I'll let you live till you tell what I did to the other.
That's kind of cruel.
So let's continue.
Sheep really do grow on trees. Ask your local farmers.
So next year, tell me the pigs can fly.
Well,
So I hope you're enjoying this Japanese right now. I don't know if it's my audio that's playing or not, but the Japanese like voices for elf hunters.
They're getting Delphi stream audio, so they'll get it in a little bit.
Okay, they are like unholy.
they're terrifying.
They're actually horrifying. Alright. I'm still picking up all this because I need this money. We're actually need a very specific amount of money. I'm not joking when I say this. We need exactly 420 gold.
Because
So,
of course we do.
Of course
Thanks,
we
Odin
do.
Sphere.
Thanks, Odin Sphere.
Those jokesters.
So, I want to get off as much hits during the early parts of this fight as we can, because this mushroom is going to get really buff.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes there's a okay. There is
Let's
yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, there's a It's a chance. Right now, we're dealing with Grandpa Shrimp. Okay, he gave me this is Muscle Shrimp. This is actually the more ideal form because he's a massive hitbox and it makes it really easy to juggle him.
He got swole fast.
I think we call that pulling a teddy in other circles.
I feel like I'm missing the context for that one.
Teddy.
Yeah. Right, right.
Hello?
There are a lot. I know
No.
too many teddies in games. Okay.
But there's only one that doesn't matter.
Oh god, oh god, okay. For a second there I was gonna die.
Alright, now I'm on 11th then.
Best
So-
of luck.
Let's hope this goes better than my practice run.
Okay, now I got Sexy Shroom. Oh god, no, not this attack.
Skip, please.
I have 21 HP. I'm kind of scared. It's a shame we're not in English right now, because the dialogue she plays when she's being juggled like this is just her repeatedly, no, 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 no.
That's a bad crit.
Okay.
That was a pretty good fight.
Nah. There's this ugly A rank on my screen. I don't know why.
It's not as if you just took 300 damage in a single hit.
Alright, so we need to briefly go in here, become shrunk, teleport back here, teleport back. Maps are hard. Teleport back here, squeeze this hole, unshrink. Resupply bosons while I'm there. Alright, we got a bunch more mooks here that I have to sort through. Yeah. This would be an excellent time for a donation or two, I feel, especially with these guys.
Sounds good. So we've got a $5 donation from DX Haseo, actually a couple $5 donations. The first one is, let's get the $5 train started. And his second one, here's my $5 for that death. Why Delphi, why?
Wait, who sent that one?
That was DX Haseo XD.
Okay. I don't know that.
Thank you for your donation.
Thank you for the donation.
We also have several $100 donations.
Nice.
There was a Brillips Z with the $100 with no comment. Kitsumek with $100. Honk, I love you all. Heart. And also $100 from Giganese. Nice work, Vitaris. Looking forward to the Odin Sphere run.
Okay, come on.
So unfortunately on my end, I wasn't able to keep Levinthin's crown off, and now he's being a giant jerk.
Yeah, when he's like that and with the crown on, he goes into pissy boss mode, where he's all red and angry, and he's immune to hit stun, and you kind of have to play it safe, or else he will kill you. It's really difficult. Okay, time to sell. I need 120 gold. All right. I usually just like to do this. Okay. That's good.
Good job,
Okay.
Delphi.
Good job. Oh. All right. 420. Let's go. All right. I don't need any more money. So yeah, as you can see here, our damage goes up to 48% damage taken and done, and we do 30% more, 36% more damage if we're at low HP.
And I believe you mentioned in the practice room the damage scales additively, not multiplicatively.
Yes. So it's like 25% here, 50% there, 35% there. whatever is, and then whatever is your bases.
In other words, see bad guy, hit bad guy hard.
Actually, I want to get a hit. No, not a double hit.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know
Hit
anything
me once,
about-
please. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
I also remember saying that. I don't remember getting rewarded for it, though.
I'm looking for less than 30% HP as my general guideline, which can be very difficult sometimes because what'll happen is I get my health perfectly low for the extra damage boost, and then I level up and my HP heals, and then I gotta have to get hit again. Okay. Let's not say we did game.
So because Ozzy's ahead, I'm not gonna grow sheep. If you wanted to see sheep, well, sorry. Oh god.
Yeah, I told myself I was going to show sheep regardless of who was ahead or not.
Yeah.
It's too funny not to.
Listen, I had to prove a scientific fact, okay?
Yeah.
It was a cultural argument.
It's an obligation to the people, if anything.
Yeah. If you're wondering why I'm still picking up these chests that have money instead of them, some of them have food in them, and I'm going to be using that food to make some really powerful potions here. All right.
Yeah, right there you got some cocoa, as well as you got a rose mill seed, which is going to be kind of useful as well. Okay, so this is Mercedes. You fight her on every character except Mercedes, which I'm almost kind of surprised.
Yeah, where's the Shadow Mercedes?
And yeah, so she has some very obnoxious grunts that she makes when you damage her, and this is true of both languages. So when we get to that part on Delphi's end, yeah, it's gonna be something.
That's my turn for the Myconid fight.
I actually kind of want to not juggle here. I'm using this poison cloud to kind of keep her somewhere in control. Again, the longer I keep her in this poison cloud, the more damage she's actually taking comparatively.
So
And puts her back in.
we haven't really touched on this. Enemies can in fact guard in this game, and so you want to kind of want to do some fighting game strats where you you hit them low in order to hit them while they're guarding.
All right, Muscle Shroom. See what you got.
Okay, come on. Don't. Hopefully, I can kill her before more of her friends show up, because those are the things that'll kill me more than she's not the threat. Her friends are the threat. Okay.
Good job.
Alright. That's chapter 6. I'm on to the last chapter.
Delphi's sweating the swole shroom right now.
Who's now?
Oh, but now we're into sexy shroom.
So it's so you can actually skip this phase entirely, but it just depends on whether or not the boss decides to use the ability to change forms, or if you manage to keep it in the air long enough.
Yeah.
Haven't quite figured out the trigger for it, but it's entirely avoidable to get the second transformation.
Yeah, it's usually not a big deal if it ends up happening, because as long as you're aware of it and you know not to get in its face when it's transforming, because the transformation animation actually has damage that can do to you, and
It's also invincible.
Yeah.
Not invincible. Can't die.
Yeah.
As Mega did.
All right. I'm in the Netherworld now, and this is where we get some kind of interesting zombie types in this game.
Spoopy.
Very spooky.
So, rather interestingly, Velvet's final boss is the Queen of the Netherworld. In Cornelius' story, which is next, she's actually like one of the first bosses.
She is
of
the first boss.
Yeah, so there's a lot of variance between characters on when you do things. This is probably one of the harder Queen Odette fights.
So these are ghouls, dogs, and birds and everything, and fishes. I just wanted to take this opportunity to blame Ghoul for how annoying they are to fight. Thanks, Ghoul. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Because the only way you can harm them is when their guard is broken. So there's two ways you can do it. You can provoke them into an attack like this and then kill them instantly. Or they're in like a light but generated by that torch. Or by an actual potion called Shine, which will create a light itself. And there's actually another type of enemy that also kind of has a similar thing. And they're even worse. Thank you.
So if we're using my audio right now, you get to hear the beautiful, beautiful noises of the elf archers. I don't see what's wrong with this.
I don't know if that's a human making those noises.
I'd almost rather listen to Poison on FF1.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a bold claim.
That is fighting words.
I went too far.
I might hold you to that at some point.
I may or may not have snuck that into the soundtrack.
No, you
No,
monster.
I didn't. I wouldn't dare.
Yes, you would.
I mean, I totally would, but I didn't.
So what you're saying is it seems the PC ports that we can mod that in there on low health.
All right, I'm going to fight Poltergeist now. This boss is actually has one attack that I really hope does not happen, but if it actually happens, I won't be like completely sad. Let me get a better one than that. Yeah, there we go. It can summon literally RPG dinos around it.
Oh, that's way too far.
Okay, that's not RPG dinos. We don't. I hate RPG dinos. I really do not want to see them.
So what you're saying is he summons dinosaurs with football helmets?
Basically.
Well.
Plus or minus a football helmet.
Yeah, they're minus the football helmet, and they've already been killed because you had to grind for them, right?
Yeah, that was the grind. That was the official name.
Well, these are the revenge. Okay, so we got the torches. This isn't. Okay, so far so good.
By the way, just a little bit ago, Delphi picked up the Mars Bangles himself, so he also has the low health passive active.
Oh no! That's the RPG dinos. Die. Oh god, I don't have a volcano. Fine, use the cyclone. Whatever. They need to die. These things have an obnoxious amount of HP.
I'm having bad luck on the
Okay,
paladin fight.
they're gone. They're gone. Okay, thank God.
These elf paladins are some of the scariest enemies in the game because they have higher stagger thresholds than a lot of other enemies, and they also just are really tanky compared to their fellows.
Okay. No, I really don't have a spare potion to use. You know what? Screw it. Oh, no. Okay. No. Okay, I actually can't risk it, so we're going to make another toxin. And I don't want to burn anything, so... I just want to clear those things because I'm really close to killing this thing. Okay. There.
So given that we're under leveled and we've had to min-max for pretty much the entire run, especially since Chapter 4, bosses are going to start taking decently lengthy periods of time to beat. Like, they already kind of have, but even more so now.
Ow. Actually, no, wait. Can you burn me? Can hurt me? Thank you.
Yeah, so Mandragores actually, they will like hit you. They can't really hurt you per se, but Habaneristas can inflict burn on you, which will do a little bit of damage and help us get to that damage threshold that we want to be at.
At the 30% health, basically.
Yeah, that's also another reason why it's really nice to like do all those level ups for, you know, and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to do this low HP strats because you can more, you know, like the 30% range is a bigger gap.
Stealthy's just now starting up Mercedes.
Kick her butt. I don't like Mercedes. I am infamously known in this game to just despise Mercedes both as a character and as a speedrun. I don't like her.
I mean, she's an okay character. She's just not fun. She's just not as fun to play as the other ones. 'Cause other ones have much more
Mercedes
juggling.
noises.
Mercedes noises. Yeah, when you have to fight a character on every other character, and she lets out those screams, you get tired of them after a couple hundred hours.
One kind of annoying thing about Mercedes is that she likes to slip behind you during combos, where almost every other enemy is nice and just sits on one side. She floats behind you because fairy, I guess.
Okay.
The other reason not to like Mercedes, she has shmup levels. No one else does.
So the cool thing about this show,
No, you let your pets out again, Ghoul. Stop it.
They just like you too much.
Sorry, you're saying Delphi?
the funny thing is, Mercedes is the only character that can death abuse in the entire game because you can die in the shmup levels and just restart like outside the next level and skip them entirely.
All right. I'm on about to get to the final boss now. So, just so you know, time for me is when the screen goes into like slow motion. You know, the final hit, basically.
Yeah, and ultimately the time that will matter is the in-game time that we see when we check the book afterward, but for marathon purposes, yeah, that would be the only time.
Let's potion 63. I did not pick up as much as I'd like. So we're going to do this, we're going to do this. 7's good. And overload.
Overload is pretty basic, does exactly what it says, increases damage. The way to actually alchemize it is to fuse in like weapon or accessories. So a lot of people don't realize that you can actually do that off the bat.
I'm kind of hoping she pings me. Yes, good. HP's perfect. Don't change a thing. And by that I mean don't kill me. Oh, beautiful. She dropped a blaze for it. That's amazing. That's really good luck.
Oops, that's one too far.
Okay. The annoying thing with this boss is it's really hard to keep your chain going because she does this every time you take out a portion of her health bar. Okay, she's done on this phase. We're gonna go ahead and make the next overload. Yeah. Wait, that is like. Are you kidding me? I'll do there. I want the 5. That actually is a significant damage increase comparatively. So there we go. When she's in creepy pasta boss mode, she's actually on screen longer, and it's actually preferred. Because she doesn't warp at the end of her health. But now I have to worry about this stupid hand right here, because sometimes that can clip me, and oh, good. But I didn't panic. I don't know what you're talking about. God, you're way over here. Okay, she's summoning enemies. That's fine.
Alright, one last health bar to go.
Do I risk it? Do I go for no ice spirits?
Do it. Do it.
Do it because it gives Delphi a chance to get you.
Okay, okay. That I gotta be very careful when she does that attack. I know better. I'm being very cautious. And time!
Nice.
I believe that was a 121.56.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's a really good run.
Yeah, that's man. If that was a few months ago, that had beaten my old PB. But like one of my best PBs was actually sub like 120. So anything like that is really good. Yeah, in-game time. Yeah, 1:20:58 in-game time is. I am really happy with that.
That's incredible.
Just for reference, what's your PB again?
Like a 117 something. I'd have to go back and look at it. It's one of those runs that's like you play so well in certain areas that certain things just go so much faster, even though you still screw up on a lot of deaths. But if they're quick deaths, like the ones you saw on this run, you get good. Funny thing is, if I probably hadn't goofed off a couple times, this would have been a sub 120. I just played very well, I feel. But you know what? That's the price you pay in a marathon run. I'm more about like having fun here.
Yeah. Should grab the cat for victory.
Yeah, I can grab the cat. Let's go.
So Delphi's on the mid boss of this level. It's got a bit more left to go.
Yeah, it's still a kind of a very challenging boss because, again, if he summons like those dino heads from before, you will see a like reactionary impulse to just get away. And then he does an attack like that, which barely clips his foot right there. And yeah,
That's upsetting.
it's unfortunate.
One kind of
that it
annoying
happened.
thing about Poltergeist is most of his tells look very similar, so I was expecting a different attack there.
I got very lucky to not do that, and I managed to like out DPS, kind of like stun him for the most part. He also summoned just a lot more like destroyable objects too.
Yeah.
That's typically what you want him to do because you'll just mow them down for the most part. But when he starts to like grab the like chest part, sometimes he will open it up and like tentacles will spawn out in a straight line. Another case, he will cause if he reaches like below his skirt, he can do another kind of like wide area effect, or he will leak the tentacles like he did before. And sometimes you think you're high enough, but no, you're not.
It's also very hard to keep your chain on this boss because he's constantly teleporting.
Yeah, something I try to do is I try to keep the creep that he spawns alive. That way you have something to kind of like keep your chain going in the while he's teleporting. It's kind of funny. We're actually getting a ton of experience points just killing the little objects he is summoning. Because, again, this boss is level 45. We just turned 35.
For reference, the final boss is, if memory serves, 50?
Yeah.
Something like, yeah. So, if we're 10 levels below this guy, it doesn't get much better.
Okay, okay. Well, we're at danger strats now.
Yeah. Everything's calculated. Everything's fine.
Yes.
You don't have to do that.
Not that one. That one.
That
one.
one-
I.
yeah,
That one I
that one-
mashed evade, but apparently missed or something.
That one's on me.
Yeah.
Thanks, school.
Yeah, I know.
And the worst part is that while
That
we
was a
do
bad
have
dodge.
we do have safety strats in the form of using ice spirits, I didn't. It looks
I
like
have one tourney.
that's not enough,
I
unfortunately.
don't think. I can double check, but I'm not sure.
Okay, to make an ice spirits, you can do. There's 2 ways you can do it.
I've got 2.
Okay, he needs either 2 tourneys and any kind of material bottle, whatever, or he needs a cyclone bottle and just adds 1 tourney, and that will give him ice spirits.
Okay. That's cool, I guess.
Enjoy this incredibly useless potion. Thank you, Lord.
That lingering hit. I'm not. That's not lingering. Oh, that effect. Okay, we're playing it super safe now. Level 4 is an important breakpoint for Ice Spirits because it gives you an extra hit. Essentially now I have 4 hits of invincibility.
Yeah, it's honestly probably one of the best ways of taking advantage of danger strats in this game because it lets you keep your HP where it is. Unfortunately, he leveled up, so he lost that bonus. But for the majority, when you can set up the scenario where you can keep your HP that low, put up Ice Spirits and guarantee you can afford to take a half without worrying about having your HP that low. It's a really nice safety net, but we're really dependent on drops in order to like actually be able to take an RPG dino.
I can't do that.
Toxin, and then Ice Spirits.
I still have Ice
No,
Spirits up.
I mean Ice Shot.
Yeah. I'm still fine. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Again, those dino heads have so much HP compared to every other thing this thing like creates. Like
It also deals. They also deal 500 damage a hit, whereas the other ones deal at most 170 or 200, somewhere around there. Okay,
So come on, almost there.
please. I'm gonna play this safe again. I can't actually. Never mind.
No, kill him. Okay, he almost got you with the exact same attack.
Yeah. So Poltergeist is. He's by far the hardest mini boss in the entire game. Just the large variety of attacks and like permutations to this fight make it very hard to prepare for. And like I said before, the fact that he has many moves that look similar make it very dangerous.
It's definitely one of the more difficult fights to learn because it's not chaotic like Airship is, and this is more just kind of like his tells are so subtle for people to really adjust to, and even I like it's a little bit of a gamble which he's going to use, and you do your best to react in time.
Especially in a game this fast-paced, too.
And also resource reliant when resources are fairly random. So like, you know, you might come into that fight with like 2 or 3 of Ice Spirits if you really want to, you know, play it safe. Or you might come in with none and then you just have to kind of chance it.
In preparation for this marathon, I did what it was a potionless run, where I made the assumption that what if I just got the worst luck imaginable? The game gave me nothing but healing potions the entire way through the game.
Yeah. I did something similar, but it's no amount of preparation can really like, perfect that kind of play style that you have to maintain.
Oh, it's terrible. It's possible, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
So Delphi's coming up pretty soon on the last Odette fight. I want to say this will probably be the last chance to get donations because he wants to focus for that one.
Yeah.
Running a little overestimate here, that's fine.
All right.
We're so far ahead anyway.
We do have a $15 donation from Tiny Tim 5872, or sorry, 58752. Hey all, loving the race and commentary. Good luck, Delphi and Aussie. Cheers.
Thanks, Tiny Tim.
Oh god.
There's also a $2 donation from Yoshizilla. Wanted to donate during Aussie and Delphi's run. Good luck, guys. Can't wait to be at the marathon in person in a few days. Also, hi, Ghost.
Hey, Yoshi.
Thanks, Yoshi.
Yoshi will be running Super Mario all bosses later in the marathon.
Yeah, shout out to Yoshi. He's actually a really cool guy. I've come to know personally very well.
And we also have a $5 donation from Shawnee7188160. Hey, Delphi, remember to do the thing.
Thanks, Johnny.
Oh, I thought he was going to ask Ghost to notice.
I mean, it's implied by now. Johnny's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Get a little worried every time we see a donation.
I'm
I'm like, oh no, what is it? What kind of sandwich has he found this time? There's an in joke with really bizarre sandwiches that man has.
I'm not
Insisted
sure how
on
I'm going to
posting.
do this.
Can we not?
Yes,
Can
let's
we
not. Let's not.
I don't want this to upset the chat too.
I assume he's in chat. Ask him in chat.
I guess I'm just going to have to use that level 4 healing potion at some point.
Yeah.
I'm in too dangerous of a position health-wise, and I have no safeties.
Yeah, there's just no turnies left.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to...
Throw the bone.
how am I going to play this? We're going to do this.
You definitely want to make the strongest fire spirits you can.
Yeah.
Because you're only.
Oh, I can make a yogurt and heal with it.
Yeah, you
That's
technically.
1,500 health flat.
Yeah.
Like, that is an option I have access to. It's not a good option.
Yeah, it's the mostly he cares about it is for the second half of this fight because that's
Yeah.
when that ghostly skeletal hand appears, and that just could like be unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah. And I actually don't even have enough stuff to make a level 9 overload.
Nah, you burned a lot of your resources.
I had to, unfortunately.
Just kind of the way that this game goes.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal at times.
If you get ahead on resources, you stay ahead. If you get behind on resources, you go further behind. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I've honestly, because of the like all these optimizations and all these kind of
I
like
don't
random
have
elements
any.
with Gwen specifically, because unlike every other character, Gwen doesn't get access to even finding Mandragoras until the start of Chapter 2, and even then, you're only limited to 2 types of tourneys for the most part:
Yeah.
carrots and Cosmos. Cosmos are nice to see, but we don't. That means for like 2 whole chapters, the odds of us finding the Mandragoras that could really ensure safety and precaution and let us do riskier, dumb things, it's just a lot easier for every other
Yeah,
character because
let's do this.
their characters in this game are locked sequentially, right? So you beat Gwen's story, you unlock Cornelia's story. You beat Cornelia's story, you unlock Mercedes' story. Because of this, the game just says...
After Spider Form, can I get series time?
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, because of the sequential order to the game, it means that every character expands upon each other in terms of like what you can get. Like for example, with Cornelius, you get the Saturn bangles we got in Chapter 2 rather than Chapter 3.
All right, you can afford to take a hit. So.
Yeah. I thought she was doing the.
Oh, the her
Yeah.
flash kick, basically.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay, get ready.
Okay. That move is very dangerous. That would have one-shot me. Okay.
All right. I wonder if you'll get one more teleport. It's hard to tell when she's this low.
I'm gonna get another.
Okay. Yep.
That
let
was.
her, let her do her thing, right?
Yeah. Gotta respect the flash kick. I don't have options.
Yeah, she's gonna teleport. Okay, we're on the final health bar.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, I forgot how long level 9s last. All right, she's gonna teleport one more time.
Got level Oh wait, I can make another fire spirits. No, I can't. I'm out. I used both of them. Yeah. I thought I had 2 more.
Nah, you're
Bad counting.
Okay, she's summoning stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got
but you can make an ice burst though.
You're right. No, I can't.
No, just throw the toxin out.
Yeah, I can't kill them.
Yeah, more of the things you're worried about is
I heard a Mandragora, but
finisher. Oh, just make a healing tonic. All right, now kill her.
yeah. Unfortunate run. I apologize to RPG Limerick staff for that, but
It's fine, dude. Half of us did it last year anyway. So.
didn't choke the final boss, which that's better than most of my runs.
GG.
It takes a lot of time and commitment and like practice to get relatively good at this game. It's a very tiring run in all honesty. What was your end time? Come on, don't you want to?
What was it?
You gotta set the book down to pick up the cat.
Let's see.
135.
wait.
Yeah, okay, you still got sub 140 though.
Oh yeah, that's one of my old PVs. I thought it was like scary, like a 140. Oh
No, it wasn't that bad.
I was horrified. Okay.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
so
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching and donating so much. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. Thanks, Delphi, for learning this dumb game with me a year ago and sticking with it.
Thanks for teaching it to me when I was already up for 24 hours and about to go to bed, and instead forced me to learn this game.
And thanks, my couch, for being here.
my pleasure.
Yeah. All right, we're done here, guys. Take it away.
Thank you so much for that run, Delphi, and thank you so much, Osey. That's like definitely was a great game to see. And with that, we have a $10 donation from Potato Anna. Odin Sphere is a great game. All right, so that'll just about wrap it up for my shift. I want to thank everybody for that has like been watching so far. I'm going to pass off to PX Micaiah after we play some Twitch ads.
And we are back once again. We are back at RPG Limit Break. Once again, thanks for that wonderful race and runs by Osey and Delphi of Odin Sphere. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Leifthrasir. Thank you all again for your donations here. So, coming up next, we got Shell Heart's Covenant by Bowie the Hero, Garrick. I think Garrick? Let me check. Yeah, Bowie the Hero, Garrick 1, and Tide Ruglia. And we're coming into the late nights of the first day, so some tiredness expected for everybody here as they're setting up. Next game after this is Tales of Zestiria. And just want to remind you, we got a donation goal here for fighting, visiting the Cat's Corner and fighting the bonus bosses. The goal there is $750, and we're close at $686.54. So get some donations in for that, and we'll meet the goal before the next run starts, and that'd be pretty great. So we got a $25 donation from Eric218 that says, "This is for my friend Tiffany, who is always open with me about her battles with mental illness. Hopefully events like this can help remove the stigma that comes with a mental illness. Thank you for that $25 donation. And here to remind you that we are here supporting NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illnesses, nation's largest grassroots mental health organization. And their work is focused around 3 pillars: education and support, awareness, and advocacy. Awareness means that NAMI participates in nationwide awareness opportunities like Mental Health Month, Suicide Prevention Month, and Mental Illness Awareness Week. NAMI has partnerships with a wide range of companies and organizations like Fox Sports and Google, and NAMI uses them to get their name and mission in front of new audiences. And mental health is a thing that affects quite a lot of us, not just here at the marathon, but a lot of us around the world too. And just getting the word out there, supporting everybody, it's just a good thing to do. We also have a $5 donation from Control Alt WTF that says, "Shoutouts to Fitaris on the mic, Guitarist, and of course the rest of the RPG Limit crew. Couldn't make out this year, but that just means more money to donate." Yeah, once again, shoutouts to Fitaris, doing a great job hosting. And of course, all donations matter. So get those in while we still can. And we have a $66.54 donation from Sharky that says, "We're over 8,000! Great job, everyone. And thank you for that donation." We got a $64 donation from Ace Burrito that says, "Just making sure we get Cat's Corner." And after a quick refresh here, we see that we have met the Tales of Zestiria Cat's Corner donation incentive. So thank you for that. Yeah, we just got $60 donation for it. we have a $15 donation from Mike Steele that says, I am so freaking stoked to see that there is a Robotrek run this year. It's one of my favorite RPGs ever, and more people need to know about this amazing SNES game. Put my money towards visiting the dev room, and we will do that just that. Just a reminder, May is Mental Health Month, and as such, it is fitting that we are here supporting NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Fewer than 50% of adults living with these conditions receive treatment each year. Reasons include stigma, lack of access, and lack of knowledge and resources, a situation that NAMI aims to improve. And we're still setting up here. We're getting close to finished here, but keep sending in those donations. We also want to give a shout out to our foreign language restreams. Our French restreams over at twitch.tv/lefrench-restream, our German restream at twitch.tv/Germensch-restream, and our Japanese restream at twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. If those restreams can help you enjoy the marathon, go check them out and send them some love. RPG Limit Break is proud to announce that we are partnered with, once again, The Yeti, Y-E-T-E-E, here to bring you 8 amazing t-shirts and a hoodie available right now, plus pins. Head over to theyeti.com/RPGLB, take a look at the designs. Pick the ones you want now, and know that $4 from every t-shirt purchase will be donated to NAMI. Reminder, Yeti is spelled YETEE.com/RPGLB. Alright, we're getting the finishing touches.